part of me.
Okay. You tell me when to go. Okay, because what happens is the full moon for Aquarius and Leos, it's going to bring forward, if there's something that we're not doing, or if there's something that you're not ready to see, they're going to bring that out, where it's like, okay, is the cycle's done, you got the lesson, you're ready for a graduation. So we're going to see a lot of that.
Interesting. And then what about the rest of us? Or
So,
the rest of them? Because I'm a Taurus.
A Taurus, so it's going to be good for you guys. It's going to bring it in. The other zodiacs, so I'll just kind of go through them. Aries, and I'm going to do it according to polar. So Aries and Libra, for example, are polars. There's going to be a lot of breakthroughs. There's going to be a lot of energy where there will be, you want to be a detective. You're going to want to get into the bottom of it. Taurus, we already did. For Gemini and Sagittarius, it's going to be a lot of focus on friendship. It's going to be a lot of energy where, is this a good friend for me, or is this where I need to go? And then after Gemini comes Cancer, which we already talked about.
Yep, Cancer, Capricorn.
Leo, we talked about. So in the
Did
last.
we talk about Cancer? No, we didn't.
Oh no, we did. Sorry, guys. So Cancer, Capricorn. Those energies are going to be more focused on career. They're going to be more focused on, okay, is this what I want to do? Is this the path I want to focus on? Maybe new business opportunities, or maybe something exciting where it's like, oh, okay, this is I really want to get into that class. So for Cancer, Capricorn, that's going to be very exciting. Leo, we already discussed. For Virgo and Pisces, my interpretation is going to be more psychic. It's going to be more of an energy where it's more spiritual development and going into that energy.
Okay, so what could somebody do, like, for myself, I always take my crystals out and, like, maybe do a reading for myself, something like that during all the full moon kind of things. Do you recommend that for any sign, or just certain signs, maybe that's what they feel like doing? Or?
I think it's fine for anyone that wants to do that. If you want to clear your crystals, if you want to do a meditation. I know for myself, I do fast. I do fasting on full moons where I just sleep every day. I drink a lot of green tea, which I know technically isn't a fast, but that's what I do. Because if I get more visions at night, I'll get a dream. Full moons, a lot of intuitives, we don't sleep on full moons. You probably know that yourself.
Oh my god. But leading up to it, to be honest, I find leading up to a full moon the hardest. Like, I'm surprised this week I feel great. Like, I don't feel, aside from the Trump night, the Trump night, that I didn't sleep last night. But usually the week before, I call it the pre-moon syndrome, like PMS. I am crazy. Certain moons, not all moons, but I don't sleep, or I'm just sort of edgy, irritable, cranky. Other times, like this week, I feel lighter. Like, I feel happier and lighter, despite what's going on in the world. I feel like, oh, everything's gonna be fine. Everything's great. It's sunny. It's bright. Like, that's how I feel leading up to it. So it's kind of different every time. But the night of the full moon, usually my daughter never sleeps. Like, she's tosses and turns, just has a disruptive sleep.
Because it brings up energy that we need to look at.
I have read statistics that say, like, they'll put police officers, more of them on nights of the full moon. So these are things we know. You know, it sounds kind of, ooh, just the psychics are talking about the moon and the super moon and the blue moon and then this moon and that moon. But if they're placing more staff to fight crimes on,
in
obviously,
if you talk to a nurse, they'll tell you they can tell when it's a full moon. They can.
People act crazier.
Yeah.
So why do you think that is?
I think from an energy point of view, I think that, you know, it's that moon casting light on what we don't want to see. And so you have to deal with it. That's one of the powers of a full moon. However we want to see the moon, it's, you know, that's one of the powers. It's like, no, look at this, deal with this, and go from there. Because it is, I know we kind of talked about this before, but it does take real courage to have that energy, that direction where it's like, okay, well, what is this? What is the bottom of this? Because it's easy to pretend things are fine. It's easy to pretend, I'm happy in my relationship, I'm happy in my career, when we're not, when we're bored, or because it's comfortable. That I get that a lot, and it's not. I actually energetically often feel a pull through my head. It feels like sometimes my head is going to explode, and then the day after a full moon, I feel like a balloon, like, has let the air out and you go around the room. Like, that's kind of what I imagine sometimes. It's like, I feel like I'm just being released, banging off things, and you're like, and then you just fall. And you're deflated. I also use the new moon for a lot of things, like to start projects.
Like I learned really early on in my event planning to never plan an event on a full moon. It's a disaster. Don't do it. Or even a lunar eclipse or something like that.
Yeah, lunar eclipse, those are very powerful.
Just the energy, people, it feels like everybody hates you, but it's really just they're struggling with the energies. It has nothing to do with you or anything, but you could become a target.
Right.
Especially if you're the host of the event.
Yeah.
So new moons, I always plan my events on, or start a new project on a new moon. And I find that gives me the energy to kind of go and build and build and build and build. And then, So.
And for those who may not know, so a new moon is when the moon is in front of the sun. And the reason it's such a good time for beginning is because those energies line up. So the sun is like pushing the moon. And it's like, okay, to get this done. So that's where the energy comes from.
Oh, I never knew that. Interesting. Great. So, I mean, a lot of people think they're just crazy, but really it's the planets.
That's why I say if you get into astrology, study the moons first. Because you will know. What I did when I first started my journey, my mentor, she got me to I went to the dollar store, got a little scribbler. Every day I wrote down, okay, because the phases of the moon are important too. Because like this month, the full moon is in Taurus. Next month, it's going to be a full moon in Gemini, a different energy. Yeah. So full moon in Taurus, just in general, is about focusing on home, your home life, your renovation projects. Where do you go? Like general, this is just
material. It's an earth sign.
Yeah.
So
good time for money.
Money and art. You
art.
Go to a gallery or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it's a great time to celebrate the beauty in life. Yeah. Like a lot of Taurians love beautiful things, beautiful object, beautiful people. And just kind of stay away from things that are the opposite of that, I think, is a good idea during the full moon. Like people that are negative, people that are just messy or like not honoring beauty.
Yeah, that's true. That's really true. So that's the general. Everyone will feel that to a different degree. Like you might go through like, okay, I need to go through a purge in my house.
Yeah,
I
get rid of stuff, buy new things, pamper yourself.
Yeah.
Be extravagant. Taurians love to be extravagant. Like go to a restaurant, treat yourself, good food, like the whole shabam.
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing. I think that's the best way to ride that wave of full moon Taurus, personally. But I'm a Taurus, so I'm going to go all out. Yeah.
That's perfect.
Awesome. Perfect. So, do you have anything else you'd like to say about the astrological weather?
No, I just think just be aware of the squares ending, and you could compare it to where you were in last April, May to where you are now. Like, are some things coming up where it's like, okay, I need to deal with this, or I'm done with that.
Yeah, I remember with Venus going in retrograde, that was a huge time for me with relationships and things like that. It was like, oh my God, and literally the day it started to retrograde, I know, like, it was just, that's...
Because I'm a Libra, so when Venus was retrograde, I was in my surfing accident. That's when that happened.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so Venus is related to Taurus
and Libra.
And Libra, right. They rule Taurus and Libra.
The next one I think is in in March, April next year for Venus.
So you basically study where everything is going to be. How do you know that? How do you know that Venus is going to be retrograding next spring?
I have a book. I'll show you guys. It's now I cannot pronounce this.
So I'll show you
this one. This is where I go with. And
Emeris or
F for something. EPHEMERIS if you want to get one. And what it is, it has a list. It looks complicated. It's really not. It just has all the planets, what degree they're going to be in, and that way you can read ahead when they're going to retrograde.
Oh, this is the blue one. I've always seen the red one.
The red one, the blue one is from 2000 on. So this is
the future one.
Yeah, and then red is more like the natal.
Oh, okay.
Like that. So like you tell, I use mine a lot because it's falling apart.
So these sort of tell you if you're born under a lunar eclipse, a solar eclipse, that kind of thing. Yeah.
With that. But you can go to Google. Like if you go different charts, there's really great websites that you can do it too. But this, I just like looking ahead. I like knowing, okay, well, what's coming up I need to pay attention to and stuff. When to plan things, when not to do things.
Okay, so just to be clear, November 25th, the end of the square between Saturn and Neptune. Is there anything coming up like around holidays that people should be aware of?
Well, actually, it's funny you say that. There's going to be a trine. So a trine is when the planet is in the same element as the other planet. So Uranus right now is in Aries, and Saturn is in Sagittarius. So they're the same same fire sign.
Fire.
So, but they're going to be the exact degrees. I believe, if I remember, I think it's going to be like 21 degrees. Aries, Uranus, 21 degrees. Saturn for Sagittarius. So that's going to be very powerful because that has a lot to do with, I get what I want. I get to, so there's going to be clarity. So that'll be on winter solstice. That's going to be a very powerful day.
That's powerful. So can you just quickly explain the trine again, like how that relates? Because
they work well together. They work because it's the same element. So a trine is like they can understand each other better. So that means that Uranus and Saturn are going to talk really well because they're in the same environment, the same energy.
And what is the third of the, like, is there three?
A conjunction. Conjunction's when they line up.
Okay.
So a conjunction would be like, well, the new moon, what we talked about, because that's the same zodiac. So that's a conjunction. So that's very powerful, but it's like, do this. The other one is the
the opposition.
Yeah, so that's like the full moon, or like a full moon would be the sun, or the moon is opposite the sun.
Yep. So in a trine, it's sort of the degree, or like, so a square is 90 degrees, and then a trine is like 45 or something like that?
I think so. Let me double check. That's terrible.
I know. I ask a lot of questions because I'm so fascinated by astrology, and I'm thinking grand trine is when there's three planets.
Yes, that's right. Every
that's
one
I
of
was
the
like,
elements.
what's the third one? But I was thinking grand. A grand trine.
Or a trine in astrology. This is terrible. But
I think it's 45, but maybe not.
What's the green for? I think you're right. I think it is 45. I want to double check.
We don't want to give you misinformation.
No.
Because then we're going to get a lot of astrologers commenting below on how
wrong we are. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah.
It is.
We're not claiming to be expert. No. I am a student.
I wouldn't, like, even though I've been studying for like 25 years, I still don't consider myself an expert because I'm always learning. And
you can never learn everything about astrology. That's the thing. That's why I love it so much. There's so much to learn. It's impossible to know it all. Impossible.
It is. A square is 90 degrees. Just trying to see where. Trying to find the trine for you guys.
Good old wiki.
Yay. Conjunction, sextile, square, trine. A trine is 120 degrees of it. So that's basically, each of the
the planets are 100. So instead of 90, it's more open.
Yeah, it's more open. But it's also too common, like the trine, like a lot of mainstream astrology, when you read it, they'll talk about, so like you're a Taurus. I bet you every relationship book you read, you should be with a Virgo or with a Capricorn, because those are the trine. That's where that comes in.
Or not complementary, but
they work with this. Yeah. And a trine is a really good thing. It's a very positive energy. It flows. Something clicks in.
So I know some of the old school astrologers, whenever they see any red squares or anything like that in your chart, it's like, oh my God, you're going to die or whatever.
Yeah.
That's kind of outdated.
This is my thing. I always get a little bit wary of when I go, because I've been to a reader before where they said you have 5 years left to live, and I'm still kicking. So like
that was 20 years ago.
Yeah. So I always get wary when someone starts a reading with that. Oh, this is really bad, because to me, to me, a reading should be a place of empowerment. It should be a place you can get information. Okay, this is my power. This is what I need to focus on. So if you ever go to get your astrology reading and they freak out over the squares, take this as a warning. Like, that's not what it is. Squares, they're challenging, but not in a bad way. It's sort of like, okay, these are things that you need to learn to deal with. Like, it might be, you might have a square in your school where you try a couple paths before you find one. That we would consider that a square. Same thing with relationships. Like, you might be in a relationship where, like the bad boyfriend, where it's not all bad but not all good, but you learn a lot, you transform into it. So that could be interpretation of the square.
Yeah, and I do know of some astrologers that do tell people when they die. I think that is so unethical. I just gotta say, because when someone comes to you and you have all this knowledge that they don't have, they're obviously paying you for that knowledge, and you're like, you're gonna die on this day. They don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah. And psychics do that too. Psychics will do that.
Psychics do that.
Yeah,
I've heard of that many times over, and I'm like, what? Like, how could they even have the audacity to even say that? They're not God, first of all.
No.
I do feel like we're all God in the sense that, we're all God's children, whatever. But to take away someone's power like that, to make them feel weak, because obviously we're all going to die, but no one needs to know the day they're going to die.
Well, it's creating fear. It's creating that energy where it's anxiety and what do I do? So that takes away from the reading, because that's all you remember from the reading. Like, not even the ethical is just one part, but why?
It's unprofessional, because I think as a reader you have, like a responsibility to people that come to you to make them, like you said, feel like they are empowered.
Yeah, and I actually have a problem with intuitives who will tell you, oh, you know, you're going to lose a female. There's someone who's going to die around you, because that's the same thing. That puts the same energy. And because I've been to readings like that where they tell you, oh, I see you standing over a grave, which is like, why
are you even saying
that? Like that's such a powerful negative.
Because think about the person after they leave, they're going to be like, okay, who is it? And like they're just anxious. You're going to create anxiety in that person. They're going to lose sleep. Yeah. They're obviously going to, there's just a trickle effect, or a ripple effect, a trickle effect. I'm getting heated.
It is. That's an issue that I have. Because, like, when they told me, I was very young. I was 21 years old. I think back, I'm like, wow, I was such a kid. But, like, that really, I got 5 years left. Because that bothered me. Because I remember at the time I was talking to the Guardians, and the Guardians were like, I remember getting the reading, looking at the Guardians. The Guardians were like, they were like, no, it's not happening. I'm like, oh, okay. but it's, if someone who doesn't know about intuition, doesn't know about the energy, that's the other one too, just sort of not to ramble, but if someone tells you, oh, you need to keep coming back to me to get rid of this energy, stuff like that, call bullshit. Because that I have a problem with that.
No. I would agree with that, because you should be teaching your clients to figure that out for themselves. I don't want people to come to me every week.
No.
Like, I won't have it. Like, you need to do your own work. You need to kind of tune in and figure things out yourself. I can help you teach you how to meditate or whatever to do that, but I don't think that's right.
Yeah.
It's not to say, like, people haven't come back in short amount of time, and maybe they had a crisis, something like that.
That's fine. That's different.
But to become dependent on, that doesn't help anybody.
No, but there's some intuitives out there, I'm putting that in quotations, they make you feel bad.
You need them.
You need them, and you can't do this on your own. I have strong issues with it.
Well, I have to laugh. I had a person approach me and tell me that there was a bad energy around me, and they needed to clear
that's exactly what I mean.
The space I was in, and I was like, huh, really? That's interesting. Like, the space I'm in, like, I do clearings all the time. I do saging. Oh no, this is more than just saging that you need for this space. And I was like, you know, thanks, but no thanks. Like, I don't want that approach. Like, that's just the wrong approach. That's the other thing. If you are an intuitive and you really do want to help somebody, that is the wrong approach.
Yeah.
Because to me, I was like, dude, you know what? I don't need your help, but thanks. Like, it was more like an ego thing. Like, I can help you, and I'm the only one that can clear your space.
That's a warning right there. That is not a reading. Just walk away.
Yeah,
and clear it.
And one of the things I teach my students when I teach psychic development is don't give people readings if they haven't asked.
Yeah, like, that's a big rule.
Oh, you know what? I hear the Guardians and they're telling me that you're crazy or something like that. Like, I have so much issue with that. If they haven't come to you and they haven't paid for a reading or asked for advice, shut your mouth.
It's not for you to give. It's not. No. It has. The thing is with psychic readings, it has to be the same as Reiki. Yeah. It has to be asked and
permission.
Yeah, permission.
Exactly.
And it's. I remember I have people that will send me messages. Oh, I got this really detailed reading about you. I'm like, I never gave you my message or my permission for you to translate that. And most of it was just, to be honest, unless it's someone I have a rapport with, and like, I mean, if I pick up something, I would tell you because we know each other. Yep. But if it's a stranger coming up to me telling me about my energy, I'm usually offended, to be honest.
Yeah, it's like you didn't give them permission to read your mail.
No,
right?
Yeah.
So why are they reading your energy? Why are they, doing all this stuff? That's, to me, it's unethical. It doesn't happen in any other profession. And what I really find infuriating is that psychics don't feel like they're, respected in the professional setting. Well, be professional.
Yeah.
That's how you get respect. Yeah. Like, don't go around giving people free readings they didn't ask for because you see and they don't. Everybody is psychic. So there's no need of that. There's no need for that. If people want to come to you, give them your business card, fine. You can do it that way. Yeah. If you feel like they might need you, then here, give them a card if they want to book an appointment. Leave it up to them.
Yeah. Or ask. Like, you could say to them, look, I know this is kind of awkward. I kind of feel like I'm picking up on something. Are you okay if I say this to you? Ask them, and then they can decide. Yeah. Because usually what happens is when, like, if some stranger came to me and started giving me a reading, I'm going to be mad. I'm going to lose the message, and I don't care. Unless
I'm going to shut it down.
Shut it down. That's usually what happens. Especially, it's the way it's presented and needs to be respected to the seeker. Like, how do they want to hear it? And the same thing, one thing too, don't force someone to go to a reading. Because that's one thing too. I have others that they make this person come in and this person's not ready. I've had that happen where you're like, oh great, your friend paid for you to be here, and they have no interest in what I do,
and it's really awkward for both of us. And I just, you know, like I've taken the steps to like, hey, there's the door. Like I don't want to force you. I don't mind giving the money back because
I have
you're
given
not
money back. I'm like, I'm sorry, it's not fair.
Yeah,
to you.
You're not comfortable. They're just not even open to it. To me, that's not fair.
The heart, like the thought's in the right place. Like it's very sweet that the person's doing it, but if the person's not ready or it's not their idea, it's not fair. Or if they're 100% really excited, and they're that's different. But someone who's brand new who doesn't know anything about this, it's not fair to put them because they're automatically going to think these, you know, we're crazy. Yeah. Where that's usually what happens. I've even had parents just put their kids for a reading, like, and I'm like, the child is terrified because, of course, they have concepts. A psychic is great, you know, like she can see. Yeah. The best I've heard. I went to see my friend at her work, and there was her coworker knew that I was a psychic, and one of the other coworkers came in. She said, "By the way, this lady in the office thinks that she won't look you in the eye because she thinks you're going to read her." And I was like, "What? Oh my God, that's hilarious." But I think there's all these misconceptions out there, for sure, based on sensationalism and all that crap. But I think that it's important to be, as a psychic, be professional. Yeah. Don't tell people when they're going to die. No. Don't give them unsolicited readings, you know, because you know and they don't. Like, none of that stuff. That takes away that person's power, or you're trying to. Yeah, and when you're giving a reading, empower that person. There has been times I've seen things about people, not necessarily their death, but felt like something like that could be happening. It's not my place to be like, you're going to die tomorrow. Yeah. You know, to me, and the guardians don't say that. Like, I've never had a guardian say that. I've never had a guardian say that either, or you know, a guide or anything like that. I have seen, like, okay, if you continue on this path, then, you know, but the person already knows that themselves. Yeah. You know, like, they know what they're doing isn't helpful or healthy or whatever, but to tell people when they're going to die, I think is just... That just cancel that reading right away, like, just clear it. Because, like, I've had readings where, when I was younger, I left shaken. I left like, oh my God, like, this is really bad. So what I've done is just clear the energy. Just take a deep breath and think, no, cancel, love and light, and just send out the energy, and then that you're done, like that, or it will have no holding you. Yeah, because it's important to know that whatever you think does create your reality. That's why I have such an issue with that, because if you're worried about dying tomorrow, you actually could probably make it happen faster, maybe. I don't know. Like, I know we all have exit points, and there's certain... actually, I think there's 9 exit points you can choose in a lifetime. I've heard those. Like that. So, you know, we're all here to die anyways. It's not a big deal. Death isn't a big thing. Obviously, we're all afraid of it. Right. But I don't think anybody is that good of a psychic to know. If we don't know ourselves when we're going to die, I don't think... Well, no, I wouldn't even say that like, it would be someone to be that good to translate that. It's more... Yeah, I don't think that information is given to people. No, because... At least not to me. And I'm not saying I'm all... the be-all and end-all. And I'm not either, but I feel like that information is for us to know. No, I don't. I've been doing, like, I'm talking to the guardians since I was in my crib. Like, I remember being in my crib talking to them. And there's never, I'm 37, like, I've never had an experience where they're like, yeah, you got 2 weeks. Like, or, you know, like, they've never done that. Like, and I've read, like, thousands of people, like, there's never a translation like that. So I question that when I hear that with other people, where it's I know everyone reads different too, but it's just you're creating fear, and that goes against who humanity really is. We're love. So why are we're supposed to enjoy our experience. Why are you feeding this? I know, I think it's the Vedic astrology. They talk about the death point. You know how the part of fortune in Western astrology, but I think there's actually a part of death. It might actually be in Western astrology too, but there's a part of death, and that supposedly tells you when you're going to die. But I don't know. I don't ever want to know what my part of death is. I feel like it's just going to ruin it. Like, you know, open the present before you're meant to. No, it just pulls against the energy. So just if that happens to you guys, just clear it. Exactly. Well, I hope that was helpful, and we'll be back to talk about astrological weather as it presents itself. Yep. Awesome. Thank you. Bye.